Once these are taken care of, we won't have any more accidents. Father Michael and I are planning a lovely life together in the tropics.
My name is Henry, and for 17 years, I thought I understood my wife. Vivian was a nurse, dedicated, always involved in church events, and constantly talking about helping people. I believed her. I trusted her. I'd built my entire life around the idea that she was exactly who she claimed to be. I was wrong, spectacularly wrong. It all started with a suitcase. She was packing for what she called a medical conference in Chicago, the kind she'd been attending for years. 3 days of seminars, speakers, and networking. Nothing unusual until I walked into the bedroom with a cup of coffee and saw what she was putting inside her luggage. A nun's habit, her nursing uniform, and a fresh 12-pack of condoms still in the pharmacy bag. My brain just froze, trying to stitch these items into something that made sense. They didn't. She came out of the bathroom brushing her teeth, acting like everything was perfectly normal. "The conference has a theme night," she said easily. "Saints and sinners." Just something fun the organizers do, right? Sure, because nothing says medical professionalism like dressing up as a nun with enough condoms to supply a college dorm. "And the condoms?" I asked. "Oh, those. Samples. They want me to hand them out for sexual health education." I just nodded, like that explanation didn't sound like the plot of a bad sitcom. But that night, while she slept peacefully next to me, I lay awake replaying everything I'd just seen. The numbers didn't add up, the story didn't fit, and the unease in my gut just wouldn't fade. The next morning confirmed everything. I followed her to the airport parking garage, more curious than suspicious at first until I watched her take a small needle from her bag and poke holes into each condom wrapper, one after another, methodical and deliberate. That was the moment my entire marriage collapsed. Not only was she planning to cheat, but she was planning to get pregnant doing it. She left for Chicago thinking she'd fooled me. She hadn't. I went home, opened our shared phone account, and within minutes, I found the number she'd been calling most frequently. A man named Garrett. A welding contractor with a voice like gravel and zero interest in pretending once he figured out who I was. "Oh, shoot," he muttered when I introduced myself. "Congratulations," I said. "You're about to be a father? Tell Vivian she no longer lives here." I didn't wait for his answer. Her laptop was open on the kitchen counter, emails, messages, photos, all automatically logged in. Vivian, it turned out, was not just having an affair, she was planning a whole new future. Garrett thought she was separated. She thought he'd leave his ex-wife. And she thought a baby would seal the deal. Perfect. Let them have each other. I packed everything she owned. Her clothes, her books, her toiletries, her porcelain cat collection, every single trace of her existence. I loaded it all into my truck and drove straight to Garrett's duplex. A woman answered the door, his ex-wife, Stephanie. Scrubs, tired eyes, the look of someone who'd carried more weight than anyone realized. "Are you Garrett's wife?" I asked. "Ex-wife," she corrected. "And you're Henry, Vivian's husband," she just sighed. "Of course you are." I stacked the boxes on Garrett's porch. "Congratulations," I told her. "He and Vivian have been planning a baby. You might want to warn him she tampered with the condoms." Stephanie sat down on the steps like her knees just gave out. "That idiot," she muttered. "He told me she was separated. News to me," I said. Yesterday morning, I thought I was happily married. We talked for a while, two people completely blindsided by the same circus. Before I left, I gave her my number. "Call me if she shows up here." Vivian called that night from Chicago, cheerfully pretending she was deep into seminars and networking dinners. She giggled about the Saints and Sinners theme night. I played along. When she asked about my day, I told her very productive. She had no idea just how productive. Hours later, she called again, this time panicked. "Henry, did you talk to Garrett?" "Of course. He deserved to know he might be a father." "What are you talking about?" she whispered. "Vivian," I said, "I saw you poke holes in the condoms." Silence. Then a trembling voice. "Henry, I can explain." "No need. I delivered your belongings to Garrett. He and his ex-wife know everything." "You what? You wanted a new life?" "I just sped up the process for you." Around 3 in the morning, she called again, crying so hard she could barely speak. "Stephanie won't let me in. Garrett's truck is here, but he won't answer the door. It's raining. All my stuff is outside. Maybe you should check into a hotel, I said. Preferably one with a medical conference. You're being cruel, she sobbed. No, I said. I'm being precise. The next day, she showed up at my office, looking completely defeated. Mascara streaked down her face, hair tangled, clothes clinging from the rain. Henry, she whispered. I made a mistake. You made hundreds, I replied. I miss you, she cried. I want to come home. Vivian, you don't have a home here anymore. Her voice cracked. Where am I supposed to go? I don't know. That's not my problem anymore. I handed her the divorce papers, already filed that morning. 6 months passed. I rebuilt my life. I painted the house, rearranged the rooms. I lived with peace instead of suspicion. Stephanie and I actually became friends, bonded by mutual betrayal and a very dark sense of humor. Vivian resurfaced in town about 8 months later, very pregnant. Stephanie called me immediately. It's not Garrett's, she said. The timing doesn't match. Of course it's not, I replied. Vivian always did have big plans. She put your name on the birth certificate, Stephanie added. My lawyer took care of that very quickly. Vivian ended up alone in a highway motel, rejected by every man she had lied to. Her future was uncertain, her past was burned, and her choices were catching up to her faster than she could outrun them. And me? I drove past that motel once? Just once. Her car sat outside. The curtains were drawn. I didn't stop. Sometimes life doesn't give you clean endings. Sometimes you have to choose one for yourself. Vivian chose lies. I chose freedom. And in the end, that made all the difference. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've been through something similar, remember that choosing yourself is the first step to a new beginning. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this one.